McElderry, and we're here to ask him a few questions.
Did you always want to be a singer from a young age?
I didn't actually. I wanted to be a paramedic. I wanted to be either a nurse or a paramedic. I never really wanted to stand up and sing in front of anyone until I was about 14, so it was quite late. And then I didn't really start doing anything with it until I was about 16. So about 16 years old, I would say I wanted to do it as a job. Yeah.
Who are your musical influences and inspirations?
I love, obviously, pop music. I love people like Beyonce. I love Luther Vandross, Michael Jackson. I like some of the old school ones, Tina Turner. People now, probably people like Adele. Who else? Sam Smith's cool. But yeah, I listen to all sorts of music, and I think when you plan a show like this, you have to listen to things, and we'll change all the arrangements of the songs to match, obviously, the style of music that's going around at the time. So it depends totally what's on the radio at the time as well.
What's been the highlight for your career so far?
I've had a few highlights. I think one of them was obviously winning X Factor. Second one, probably releasing my 4th album. That was quite a big achievement. What else? Doing Pop Star Opera Star, which was another TV show that I did. I've had a few. I think it's different snapshots all the way along that I get really excited about at the time.
What made you audition for the X Factor?
I wanted to just be able to. I wanted to do this. I wanted to be able to come out on the road, perform to people, and just sing songs and have people sing them back and clap along and join in. That was kind of my whole dream and what I wanted to do. So the fact that I can now do that is very special.
And how did your life change after you won the X Factor?
Huge change. Massive adjustment, obviously, to people knowing who you are. You spend a lot of time away from home in a lot of places that you've never been to before. But it's great fun, you know. When you're on the road and on tour, you go into this little bubble and you kind of it's just about doing the show every night and travelling to the next place, and time just goes by really quick and it kind of all just blurs into one. But it's a great buzz around it.
Do you still keep in touch with any of the contestants or judges from the X Factor?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we don't see each other all the time, but we'll keep in contact. We'll have each other's numbers, and whenever somebody's releasing an album or doing something that we can congratulate each other on, you know, we'll keep in touch, send a text, send a tweet. So I don't see them all the time, but I still have a lot of love for them. You know, we spent a huge part of time together, and it was a really special time as well. You know, it was the start of all of our careers, and so yeah, I've got a lot of time for them.
Do you think the X Factor has helped or hindered your career?
Helped, 100% helped. I think it was a huge platform, and without the platform of that show and people knowing who I am, obviously after that, I wouldn't have been able to do anything, you know. So it was the first stepping stone that everything's followed after.
Who has been your favourite celebrity that you've met and why?
I've met Rihanna was quite a cool one to meet. I also met George Michael. That was pretty cool. Who else? I met Dionne Warwick. That was cool. Whitney Houston. There's a few people that I've met where when you do an X Factor, you kind of end up in the room with all of these huge stars, and it's really surreal, you know, because you kind of don't think they're real people. And so Whitney Houston was a pretty major one. I'd probably say that was a special one.
Can you describe how it feels to perform in front of thousands of people on the stage?
It's kind of like a huge adrenaline rush, and you're concentrating on so many things that sometimes you don't even realise what's going on. And it sometimes goes in slow motion, then sometimes, before you know it, it's the end of the show and it's just gone like that. It's more the build-up to a show that actually kind of takes the longest. So like this period now where I've been sound checking, sitting backstage, getting something to eat, getting ready, that kind of goes really slow, and then all of a sudden, it's the end of the show and it's bedtime, and it's crazy, it just goes so fast.
And do you ever get nervous when you're performing? And if so, how do you calm your nerves?
I use my nerves as a kind of way to make sure that I do my job properly. And I think if you're not nervous, then you should be worried. I think nerves are a good thing. You've just got to channel them into the right place. But I get really nervous before any show. Sometimes it catches us by surprise as well. Sometimes I can have done a show 50 times, and all of a sudden one night I just get really nervous out of nowhere. But I think it means that you care about your job, and you obviously care that you don't want to make a mistake. And the nerves stop you making a mistake if you use them in the right way.
What do you do on your days off?
Sleep. Sleep, eat, chill out, sometimes go to gym, exercise, just catch up on things. You kind of, like I said before, you go into a bubble and everything kind of in the real world kind of goes a bit non-existent for a few days. So on a day off, it's kind of back to real life, and you know, getting everything in order for the next set of shows.
Do you still watch any of the reality TV shows that you've taken part in?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a lot of telly now as much as I'd like to, but I try and catch up on it. You know, I try and keep up with it, and obviously I'm a huge fan of X Factor, so I still keep with that.
Would you do any other reality TV shows, and if so, which ones?
I'd like to maybe try Strictly. I think that would be fun. I think the Jungle would be fun, but the animals and stuff might be another question. But yeah, the Jungle or Strictly would be a fun one to do. I think something where you're using a skill and learning something, then I think them kind of shows are good.
Do you still take part in any other of the winter sports that you learned whilst taking part in?
I do a lot of skiing, and I go on holidays skiing as well, but not quite as intense as jumping off a huge jump and possibly breaking your neck. But I do a lot of winter sports like sledging, skiing, try a bit of snowboarding, and I'm not very good at it.
What advice or tips do you have for getting into the entertainment industry?
I think you've got to enjoy it, you've got to be really passionate about it, and it's hard work, you know, it's not, people think it's easy. I mean, I love what I do, so I don't find it hard, but it's a lot of long hours, it's a lot of commitment, it takes up a lot of your life, and I think if you're going to do it, you've got to really have the right mindset for it, and you've got to be prepared for a bit of a hard work, you know, not be frightened of hard work, and sometimes you get rejection. You've got to take the rejection, move on to the next thing, and always keep things moving, you know, and keep the passion driving you through.
Did you find it difficult coming out about your sexuality in the public house?
I think in an ideal world, obviously, it wasn't an ideal situation to have your personal life plastered all over the front page of a paper. But I think it's part of my job, and I felt it was necessary to talk about. And I think once I actually spoke about it, it wasn't as big a deal as I thought it was going to be, you know, and now it's just not something that I even think about.
Thank you for talking to us. It's been really interesting, and it's been fun to get to know a bit more about you.
Thank you. Thanks for your questions. It was great fun.